Kia ora koutou. It's time for another RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Countdown for episode 6. I'm Mama C. Well, before we get started, I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day, Down Under that is, for anyone who was celebrating yesterday. And that's another reason why my recording is out late this week. Not just because of that, but because of the rain that just don't seem to quit. And I'm just trying to work around it. So I apologize for any rain noise you might hear and for the little bit of a delay. So hope everybody had a great weekend. And also for the people in America, happy Labor Day weekend. Well, last time we saw the Babs take the win and the challenge, and we saw Yuri sashay away. The queens meet backstage. They read Yuri's mirror message. Molly is bereft after sending home Yuri. Spanky cries and says how proud of Yuri they are and how proud the country is of Yuri. And then she says, and she got further than Anita Wiglet. Shade. So, obviously, knowing Anita, I had to reach out and ask. So, what I said was, what is your response? And she says, ha, ha, ha. Yuri may have been in the competition longer than I was, but it's not the time you're there. It's what you do with it. Ting. But yes, we do love Yuri, and we wish Yuri all the best. And as I always say, get out there and support all our queens and kings in New Zealand and Australia. All right, on with the recap. Well, Molly is starting to worry about her position because, she's like, I've done well, then I haven't done well, then I've sort of sat in the middle. She doesn't really know where she stands. She says she's going to have to smash it because she really wants this. Yeah. So the queens meet next day in the workroom, and Molly says that the ghost of Minnie is still around. Whoa. Queen says they don't want to bring anyone down, but this week was difficult, and that sometimes they flip like a switch. As they were in their head, then Yuri left, and she couldn't even bring herself to say goodbye. That's how messed up she was feeling at that time. I think it's a kind of a way for them to regroup and move on, because they're all going through it. So it kind of helps. Maybe this was sort of a little cleansing, a little catharsis to get everything out and to be able to move on. So then Biv apologizes to Queen and says that she's sorry that she brought that out in her. Queen and Biv hug, then everybody hugs, and it's a good moment. So Ru enters the workroom, and the queens have to do a video representing their hometown. Hanaconda is doing Perth, Molly in Newcastle, Biv Gold Coast. Bev says her strength isn't acting or comedy, but she can market a product. Spanky, of course, is representing Palmerston North. Hannah talks of times of depression and anxiety and say to Queen, sometimes you can have a great week and sometimes a bad week, but they'll always be there for their sisters. Siren Sounds model Samantha Harris comes on a screen and gives them tips on how to do their production. I mean, really, I don't know why they do this. All it is just, oh, let's drop a name here. And they don't know what to say, so they just say, be yourself, because that's mostly what everybody says. So then Ru has a chat. Ru tells Spanky the best thing to come out of Palmerston North is Spanky. So use that to promote it. Beverly is next with Ru and says, they're from Gold Coast. And Ru says, they're from the Gold Coast. That same place as Muriel's wedding. To which Bev says, I'm sure Muriel is a lovely person, but has not seen Muriel's wedding. And then informed it was a movie, was told not seen it. Oh, you're terrible, Beverly. Go see the movie, darling. So Ru says to Bev, I want to see who you are. And she tells Bev she needs to let it all hang out. So Queen is paying homage to their hometown in South Auckland. So good old Mangere. At least that's what I got from the background photos. Molly says that Ru is throwing a spanner in the whole works of everything because they had an idea of what they thought they were supposed to do, and then Ru comes in and sort of throws the spanner in and changes the game because they're like, oh no, that's not what I planned. So everybody's feeling a bit weirded out. As the queens prepare for the day, Biv opens up and asks the queens what she should do. Before she finishes speaking, Hannah then breaks in and says, you need to stop. You are too concerned at what others think of you, and you need to be authentic. Queen also agrees with this. Now, this is a moment I feel they are setting up Bev to go home. But that's how I called Yuri's last time. It's like, oh, ding. That's what they did there. Okay. So then Bev kind of says, well, nobody really offered suggestions. They just say, just be, just let yourself be. Okay, well, to a early 20 something kid, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, because they haven't lived long enough to understand how life can be, and it will bring you down. And that's why you need to hang on to these wonderful moments, because you're going to need them to get through the rest of life. I am just saying, there's ups, there's downs, there's all kinds of crap. So you just got to bear with it and hang in there. So Biv says, she needs a moment with Spanky, because Spanky makes her feel seen and heard. Spanky says, come, because it doesn't matter. And Bev's young. She hasn't got there yet. And it will kick in, because trust me, when you are 20 through 24, 25, I'm sorry, but you really don't know. And that's not your fault. That's being newbie and young and cute and beautiful. You don't get a lot of knowledge really till after your looks start to fade. So as you can tell, I have a wealth of knowledge. Queen's up first with Michelle and iconic Suzanne Paul. So if you're not familiar with Suzanne Paul, you obviously don't live in New Zealand, and you must live under a rock if you do. So she is like the ultimate iconic New Zealand salesperson, So Queen does Queen Kong Island. Queen searches for direction. Banky's tour is getting home from the pub in Palmy. It looks like it's going to be funny. Suzanne says rhyming is good. We like rhyming. We like alliteration. It works best. Hannah does Middle Perth, which makes me laugh because she's so cute. You could just fit her in your pocket. So she is kind of like a hobbit. Of course, I'm like a hobbit too, I guess. Anywho, Molly does Newcastle, and Beverly is on the hunt for a sugar daddy. So Bev opens up about thinking about themselves a lot, trying to figure things out because, young person trying to sort stuff out, and says they're a lot like their dad. Success driven, fake being confident until you are, that kind of thing, which, as you recall, I said that last week. So I just got my PhD in armchair psychology. Thank you. So Bev says that failure was never an option in their household. Anywho, so Queen asks what Bev's focus is and talks of the loss of their trans sibling and hopes that the drag kids today have the support they need. Being happy should be a priority. And it should. I mean, I can't say it enough. All right, it's time to report to the stage. Rue is looking amazing as usual. Michelle and Reese are standing by. Category is swimsuit addition. Up first is Queen Kong. Love the hair. Sort of a goddess coming out of the water, she says. Then we have Spanky. This is Spanky's ode to Baywatch. I love Spanky so much. Spanky just gives me life. Up next is Molly. Molly is repping the Gold Coast. And of course, Hannah. Hannah is wearing a full coverage modest swimsuit, which you'll see if you live outside of America. You'll see this around because there's a lot more people who are out and about who wear modest wear. So I think it's good for Americans to see this. All right, and then we have Beverly, who is a golden meter maid. And of course, she's cute. So Gold Coast represent. All right, so once the runway is done, it's time for their tourist ads. Up first is Queen. We see shots of Mangere in the background. It's for Queen Kong Island. A lot of reasons not to go to Queen Kong Island. Apparently people have to pretend like they give a shit, I guess. Michelle didn't think it was funny, but the runway was pretty. Ru says they've done well opening up, but there's still uncomfortableness. Apparently, Queen's father was worried about them using their last name. Ru says you don't need your father's validation, and this is a lesson for a lot of people, really. I've seen a lot of kids worry about what their family thinks, or their family says, this is what you should study, or just all that. But at the end of the day, so you got to find your passion, and you got to go with that passion. And I think that's one lesson I think that Beverly learned was that, maybe uni wasn't for her, and this was. And so this is part of her education. This is her schooling. At least that's how I feel about it. So set your personal goals and go for it. Like here in New Zealand, our young people are fortunate enough to get their first year of uni fee-free. If you think about it, most people don't even know what they want to be at that age. I certainly didn't. It takes you time to figure it out. And most people change their majors. There's a lot that goes on. But, even with the first year of uni being free, 1 in 5 New Zealand students drop out after their first year, and 1 in 3 students do not complete their bachelor's degree. So, a little food for thought there. Spanky's up next. It's madcap funny. It's Spanky. Michelle says, what the am I watching? It's funny. Reese says, that's the most polished he's ever seen Spanky. Up next is Molly doing her Newcastle and her potty bus. Party girls in Newcastle never die, she says. Molly had 16 scenes, apparently. Reese says it's funny, but not Newcastle. Hannah does this great bit with Middle Perth, starts off shaving her toes, battles a black swan somewhere through Middle Perth. It's funny. Michelle was impressed, as well as Reese. And they talk about her futuristic swimwear, which I know Michelle didn't like, but she couldn't say anything because it's modest wear. And if she cuts modest wear, she's going to have a whole nother group of people coming after her. So she's just like, oh, yeah, it's nice. So Beverly Kills is up next. I thought she did a great job. I did. Michelle says she was so in character that it wasn't funny. She loves her hair. And Ru asked the queens, who should go? And I hate this. I hate this so much. It's so mean. It's a cruel thing to do is what it is. Especially because you're doing it in front of the person. Done. Not a fan. So Queen says Bev. Spanky says Bev. Molly says Bev. Hannah says Bev. Bev says she may have the worst stats, but she says Queen Kong. So our queens head backstage. Queen asks Bev how she's feeling. She gets why that Queen said her name, but she's then cut off by Hannah, who chimes in and says she doesn't feel authentic and comes off very harsh. Bev asks her to please stop, just give her a minute. Hannah keeps going. So finally, then the girls say, just give her a minute. Let her feel. Just give her a minute. And I think this was probably the hardest thing that poor Hannah has had to do was keep her mouth shut because she was busted to talk. It's like, no, bzz, 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 no, stop. This is not, she doesn't need you to tell her how she feels. She just needs to feel and let it happen. You can't fix this. Just let her have this moment to let it out. That's a big mistake. I've done that before. Yeah, nobody wants that. So Spanky questions that, she just doesn't know yet. Spanky says she'll find herself, which is what I've been going on about for all this time. It'll come, and it will, as we've been saying. She's just a bub, so. And she's growing. And she's already beautiful. And it's just a matter of time. Okay, so the judges are discussing the ads. Queen's not a great advertisement. Yeah, she seemed really flat during this, and I think that was another one where being in her head kind of thing. Yeah, because I know she's got more. Spanky, they say, was complete disarray, but funny as. Ruth says she can sell the worst garment. And she probably has. Molly, the final project is good, but one note according to Michelle. Hannah, Hers was most thought out and cohesive, and it was really well done. She took advantage of the special effects that they had to offer, and I thought it was a great job. Beverly Kills, they said she does the job. Rue says she's a good looking kid who hasn't had to struggle, and maybe that's what's missing. Again, she's just a bub. She needs time. Nobody knows anything. I know you think you do, but you don't. When you're 21 years old, you don't know shit. You think you do. In fact, our youngest right now is in his first year uni. He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. So they return to the stage. Molly is pronounced safe. Spanky is pronounced safe. Hannah wins a $2,000 gift card for Shumi and a Singer Quantum Stylus machine. Nice. Well, that leaves Queen and Beverly to lip sync to The Beginning by RuPaul. Queen says Bev is a self-proclaimed lip sync assassin and the assassin is going to be assassinated. All right, slow down. It's like a gymnastics throwdown. There's flipping, there's cartwheeling, there's flopping, I guess, because, yeah, some of these weird off-angle rolls were just, I was like, what is happening here? I wasn't sure what was happening. So, lip sync done. Queen ends up staying, and that means Beverly sachets away. And of course, we wish Beverly all the best in her touring and make sure everybody get out and see her and help support Beverly Kills. Next week, it's semifinals, and it looks like they're going to be transforming some people into some drag. Well, that wraps it up for this week's recap of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. I'm Mama C. Make sure you join us again next time, and please like, share, and subscribe. And have a great day wherever you are.